There's a quiet revolution happening right now, unfolding in plain sight. It's led by men who don't seek applause, who don't make a lot of noise, and who certainly don't need an audience. These are the men who have discovered something deeply countercultural, that the richest way to live often happens in the smallest of spaces, right inside the four walls they call home, while the rest of the world rushes forward, celebrating constant motion and public visibility. They have deliberately chosen stillness. This isn't a choice born from fear or defeat, but from a conscious design. These men have stepped away from the collective performance that modern life seems to demand from all of us, and in doing so, they've uncovered a truth that our society works very hard to hide. Peace isn't found in endless movement, but in the courage to simply be still. This isn't a story about hermits or social failures. It's about ordinary men who have had an extraordinary realization that home is not just a location on a map. It's a psychological state, a fortress for the self, and a laboratory for the soul. In our modern economy, our attention has become the most valuable currency there is. Corporations fight for it, algorithms manipulate it, and society constantly demands it from us. But the man who loves staying home understands that attention isn't something to be spent recklessly. It's something to be protected and invested wisely. Think about it. Every social interaction has an energetic cost. For those with more introverted minds, this isn't just a preference. It's a matter of physiology. Their nervous systems process stimuli more deeply, which makes crowded social environments genuinely draining. For them, home becomes a charging station, a place where the self is replenished, not depleted. Here, at home, energy is no longer spent on small talk, on navigating social dynamics, or on maintaining some kind of socially acceptable persona. Instead, that energy flows inward, fueling reflection, creativity, and genuine rest. The famous psychologist Carl Jung recognized this when he described introversion as the inward direction of life energy. It's not a weakness, it's selectivity and depth. The man who loves his home has built more than just a living space. He has created a psychological sanctuary. Every detail, whether he chose it consciously or not, supports his inner world. It's the chair positioned just right to catch the morning light, the bookshelf arranged by meaning rather than alphabetical order, the quiet rituals that anchor his day. Psychologists call this environmental mastery, the ability to shape your surroundings, to meet your own psychological needs. Outside the home, life imposes its structures and its demands on us. But inside, the man becomes the architect. This control isn't about dominance, it's about alignment. It's about creating conditions that match his internal rhythms. In this sense, his home functions like a digestive system for his emotional experiences. It's where he processes the world, integrates it, and restores his own inner balance. Modern life demands constant performance. We have to display our competence, curate our happiness, and perform connection for others to see. Over time, the line between our authentic self and our performed self can dissolve. The man who stays home has stepped off this stage, not because he can't perform, but because he understands the cost. Every moment spent performing is a moment not spent simply being. At home, there is no audience. His thoughts don't need justification. His feelings don't need an explanation, and his very existence doesn't need validation. This isn't laziness or withdrawal, it's a sign of philosophical maturity. The philosopher Kierkegaard warned us that the crowd is untruth. Authenticity requires privacy, and privacy requires space. Freed from constant stimulation, this man develops a rare superpower, sustained attention. He can read deeply, think clearly, and notice the subtle textures of everyday life that most of us miss. Simple acts like making coffee, watching the rain fall, or organizing a room become meaningful rituals. He isn't escaping reality. He's engaging with it at a depth that modern life rarely allows. For him, solitude isn't silent, it's conversational. When he's alone, he confronts the questions that crowds and noise suppress. Who am I without any witnesses? What do I truly value? What brings me genuine, lasting joy? This kind of introspection isn't narcissism, it's integration. Over time, he becomes more whole, less fragmented, and increasingly comfortable in his own skin. This represents a different form of masculinity, one that isn't rooted in dominance or visibility, but in self-mastery. His strength is his internal equilibrium. He resists social pressure, defines success on his own terms, and can endure stillness without needing a distraction. This quiet discipline requires more strength than constant motion ever could. In a culture that's addicted to speed, his stillness is a radical act. He has opted out of the illusion that fulfillment lies in constant consumption and activity. His progress is vertical, not horizontal. He's deepening, not just expanding. He moves inward, not backward. Through this solitude, he develops his emotional intelligence. He learns his own patterns, recognizes his triggers, and learns to regulate himself without outsourcing his stability to others. This actually makes him a better partner and a better friend when he does choose to engage with the world. He shows up whole, not needy, grounded, not reactive. Of course, this path requires balance. Healthy solitude recharges you, but unhealthy isolation can confine you. The man who truly thrives at home remains vigilant. He maintains meaningful connections, stays on top of his physical health, and seeks out intellectual input. His home is a base, not a prison. In our overstimulated world, his retreat is an adaptive strategy. While many people surrounded by others feel deeply lonely, he is often alone without ever being lonely. His contentment comes from a solid relationship with himself, which then allows him to form authentic connections with others. His home is an extension of his identity. Every object reflects intention. Whether his space is minimalist or rich with meaning, it mirrors his inner world. This alignment reduces stress, supports healthy routines, and creates a powerful sense of psychological security. At its deepest level, his love of home reflects a philosophy of life. He has chosen being over performing, depth over breadth, presence over prominence. This isn't resignation, it is wisdom. It echoes the teachings of Stoic, Buddhist, and other contemplative traditions that all place fulfillment within us, not in the world outside. The man who loves staying home doesn't need to defend his choice. He simply represents a quiet alternative to our culture of exhaustion. He shows us that it's possible to opt out of the race without opting out of life. That stillness is not stagnation. That solitude is not loneliness. And that home is not confinement. His home isn't a hiding place, it's a launching pad. He withdraws to integrate, to prepare, and to return to the world centered and strong. And when he does engage with the world, he does so with a clarity that very few ever achieve. In the end, he reminds us all of a forgotten choice. We can keep racing, or we can come home, not just to a place, but to ourselves. Beneath all the noise of our lives, a quiet center is waiting patiently. He has found it, and in that presence, he has discovered something that no amount of motion could ever provide: wholeness. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more thoughts on finding depth in a busy world. See you in the next one.